The Crash Course Live is presented by
Smash It Demolition Derby, who host Bash for Cash, Blizzard Bash, and Capital City Carnage. Online at smashitderby.com. And Stirring Dirt Racing, host of May Mania's team show at the Golden Spike Arena in Ogden, Utah. Online at stirringdirtracing.com.
Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel and Derby Inc. Magazine. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now your host, Chris Marquardt.
It's like your first day sometimes.
Well, you know, I'm just trying to straighten some things out for you.
You want a lot of stuff. You know what? I'm not even confident that computer still turns on.
Computer.
That's how up to date that computer is. That's how up to date that is. Brian wants a new show intro. Wants to add a bunch of other stuff in. The problem is we haven't had the cameras out to go do a DVD in a couple years. Yeah. So we got to go someplace and with the sole intention of videotaping for show intro.
We could do that. Hopefully this year we're going to a couple places where we could get some good footage.
I'm hoping so. We always have a good time down in Virginia. That's where some of that footage came from.
Yep.
And we don't get up to Jamie St. Mary's neck of the woods. The shot of the Travis Charleston barreling into the back of that Taurus wagon, that was from up in the Franklin County Fair with Total Destruction, Demo Productions. I think that must have been back in 2013.
Yeah,
he won Hit of the Year for that shot way back. He was the first compact guy to do that, win that Hit of the Year award that we used to give out. Episode number 254 on that kind of a free flow Monday. We had a guest lined up, but he ended up coming across some family obligations, and it's a minor miracle that we're here because, as it turns out, I had some family obligations. Alan's first basketball practice was at 5 o'clock. They called and let us know in a voicemail on Friday, but my credit card's maxed and hasn't been paid in several months, so I just assumed it was a collections call. And when it went to the voicemail, I sort of disregarded it. And then when I had I Googled the number, it came back as kind of a questionable caller anyway. So I just blew it off. I didn't look, I didn't listen, didn't pay attention. So I probably should have. But Alan made it to basketball practice on time. He and his cousin Maxwell are both on the same team.
Good.
So they're pretty excited about that. And
Pretty cool.
They had a neat little combine type deal to make sure that the teams were more balanced in terms of skill. Because some of the games in the rec league basketball that he played last year ended up like 30-2 at halftime. And then
not a lot of fun in those games.
No, not at all. Kind of like your hunting season's been.
I can honestly say that
there are no deer in New York.
There is no blanket deer in New York State. Anybody that may have saw that post, my good friend Eric Jaguar, we used to hunt together all the time, and his grandfather used to hunt with us. And his grandpa was a cool dude, and he'd been a kid in the Depression, and he was in the service, and just one of the people from the great generation. And he'd come down here from New Hampshire, and I don't know, about the second day of deer season, he would announce to us that there was no effing deer in New York State. And then a second idea would be we should go hunt Mahogany Ridge, which is another name for going to the bar. So Gramps has been gone a few years, and just kind of miss him. And but no, this was a strange year. We had a lot of corn standing, so we didn't have the success we'd hoped. I actually saw a buck Saturday, but it was roughly 300 to 400 yards off running. So
whose car was it on?
Yeah. So unfortunately, I was a little out of range of the 12 gauge. I told Jeremy Gully that I needed his 25-06, and then of course him to operate it because I ain't hitting that thing at that range. But my son is this is his first year of kind of an adult hunter, I guess, at 16, and he's getting closer. He hit a deer this year, and just didn't hit it in the sweet spot, and we ended up harvesting it. But there wasn't a lot of fun. I saw 3 live deer this year. So, but we our group got together like we always do. We all hunt together and then throw it in a pile and cut them up and distribute it. So we got venison in the fridge. So it's all good.
Yeah, because you're starving.
I'm starving.
Because you need venison.
I do. I actually should be eating a lot more venison than the other garbage I eat. I would definitely be in better shape to climb up and down the mountains with my buddy Jeremy when we go hunting in November. But so yeah, it wasn't the season I hoped for. But I've honestly I've gotten to the stage in life where I can sit outside and enjoy nature. You know what I mean? Like when you're young.
That zen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you're young, you're all about killing stuff, and I'd still like to get deer, but it's nice to just sit in a tree stand and not hear, for my job, inmates or COs or anything like that. Just listen to the birds and the 55-pound squirrels that I have running around my head, crazy stuff like that. But so we're
some little buggers, aren't they? This year?
Oh,
they're eating well somehow.
We might not have many deer, but I'm telling you what, I've got Boone and Crockett squirrels running around the farm where I hunt. But now it's football's over, hunting's over. No derbies until at least I don't know. Whenever you tell me we're going,
there's what 2 months right now. I think there's 2 months until Winter Slam.
Yep.
Give or take from this weekend. Winter Slam's right around the corner. We'll be talking to Randy Maslowski in the coming weeks here.
And then
take a preview of that.
Week before or week after is the what do they call it? Florida
Southern Shootout.
Yeah,
was what it was last year.
Iron City Productions, right?
Yep.
Which is Todd and Steve Siopa and JC Molly's.
Mm-hmm.
They'll be putting on the big show down in Florida this year. That seems to have a lot of interest. Again, I haven't heard all the lists of driver names going for the team show, but from what I've heard, it sounds like it's gonna be a pretty nasty event.
And then they got that. I talked to Johnny Gullo today. He's not available to take phone calls today. But we got him coming up here soon to be talking a little bit more. Everybody's seen the announcements about the Derby in Vegas. So that's coming up around the corner, too. That's at the end of March. Capital City Carnage is going to be the week prior to that, the 22nd and 23rd. So, we are not far from... that right there is 4 or 5 quick derbies without even thinking it. And I know we're missing... I know Brandon... I'm sure that Brandon Dixon's got at least one.
I was looking last week, too, and I can't for the life of me. But, it's funny how the demo season in NASCAR has almost become hand-in-hand. Yeah. NASCAR's got, 2 months off, and then they start doing some testing.
And they have the same number of fans in the stands.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think Derby's definitely kicking NASCAR's ass now as far as fans, but it's crazy, man. You sit back and think about it, and think about, you think about a short 10 years ago. I went to Waterloo, and then by then there wasn't really a Cuba County anymore. Maybe we'd go down and watch. We'd go down and watch down to.
There was 1 in 11 and 12. And that was
Broome
it.
or Tioga or one of those two or Whitney
Matthews
Point.
was still alive. His daughter drove a car.
Mm-hmm.
At the last
I remember.
One,
yep.
At the last one at Cuba County. The last one at Weedsport.
Roger Matthews. Yep, I remember him bringing the car over there.
That was the same year that Roger was up on the back of Mike Adams at Cuba. If I remember right.
No, wasn't he under Adams? Mike was on top of him because Roger had Roger
70s? Had the black number 0. That was the wallpaper on my computer for a long time.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that Roger was up in the air.
Was he? I thought it was the opposite way. I thought it was.
Well, either way, it was a cool picture.
Yeah, it was cool. Mike, I think didn't Mike have a.
He had a Galaxy.
Galaxy. Yeah, because I think Ben had a Galaxy that year too down there.
That was Ben's. If I'm trying to go back through the Rolodex here, Ben had his green and orange one.
Okay.
That was the car that was painted 50-50. I think he ended up taking that car down to Hartford and finished it off there. And Mike Adams ran that Galaxy at Blackrock and got a couple wins with it over there.
Gotcha.
I'm pretty sure it's all right in that same time.
You've talked to Tyler before. Have you ever talked about derbies at Blackrock or is there whatever?
Tyler.
Siri? Or is he
a little.
anti?
Did he have one?
I don't think they've had one because
Josh won an Imperial heat down there. There was only 3 or 4 cars, and Predmore was there. And I thought Tyler had it at that point, but it might not have been. That might have been still Dean even before Dan Harpel had it.
Yeah,
because Dan was only there for a year.
The last Derby I was there was
the one in the snow.
No, that was a good one. I had fun there. But
John King had one after that.
Yeah,
had a couple.
There was Imperials. Chad Winnie ended up beating Brett. Chad had a subframe. Right. Brett had the full frame, and I think that was the night they did the camper derby where everybody came close to dying. But remember,
they did a couple camper derbies. I was there for one of the camper derbies.
I was there with
and
you.
I was there for the one because I got a picture of Chad Winnie's car, and that was the one that car was the background when I drew the Imperial and on the 8th day God gave us the bird.
Yep.
That is Chad Winnie's Imperial on that shirt.
Because I remember you and I went over there together for the one show, and it was put on by John King, and you had put a camera on Richie's the camper that Richie Predmore had, and we couldn't get the mount off, so we just took the camera.
Yes, I forgot about that. We left it there because it was laid right over. All the screws were laid over flat.
It was cold and late. We're like, we're just leaving.
It's fine. It's a $7 mount.
Yeah, you're gonna wreck a lot more of those.
that was
a while ago.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that Josh Buell got into Decker's camper and used the latrine in there.
Yeah. Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, because John King asked me if I wanted to run a camper, and I was like, ain't no way I'm running plywood demolition derbies. Yeah. No way.
There is no way you'll catch me dead. And the campers, as funny as it is that as much strength as a 2x4 has to hold up a house, in an impact, they're not that strong. They just fall right apart.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Remember when the body fell down around Buell?
Yeah.
Like, all of a sudden, he's like, in the middle of the derby, pushes them up, and there he is. Like,
that was insane.
Just sitting on the chair all night in the steering wheel with nothing around him.
And I said from the beginning, I'm like, guys, these are only made out of plywood, right? This probably isn't a good idea. Oh, no, we'll be fine.
Hey,
all right.
Come on.
What do I do?
There's some fiberglass there, a little plastic.
Yeah, very little plastic fiberglass, but no, it's... Yeah,
there was a lot of them, too.
Yeah, there was like 20, 25.
The miscalculation of the entire event as a whole was how much they fell apart. Because after the derby was over with, you could see the promoters looking around like, someone has to clean this up. And I feel like it's me.
Yeah, it was bad. There was legit a foot of debris on the track.
Oh, yeah.
Legit. The entire track where they derbied, there was it was a foot deep. Just crazy wood and plastic and...
Tweed. I remember a lot of tweed.
Yep.
Tweed cushions and stuff.
Yeah. That was hilarious. You want to run one? Not a chance.
Looking back, I wish we would have saved one because we would have been able to use that as our travel vehicle.
Yeah.
As safe as those proved to be.
Yeah, definitely. No, I like the caravan. We've been lucky. We once we started really moving, we went to airplanes, so we only run the van about once a year now.
You're only in the van once a year now.
Well, this year it's looking like,
I'm in it quite a bit.
Yeah, well, you're crazy.
True.
But yeah, I think it'd be nice to get back to Blackrock. I never ran over there. I'd like to. I mean, they got a nice infield spot.
That was when you broke into promotions, was it Blackrock, right?
Yeah, you and I, the part of that derby with the, whatchamacallit. That's where I broke into filming the first time.
Yeah.
Remember you brought me over, you're like, and I'm like, Chris, I don't want to screw your product up. Oh, no, just do this. Because we did monster trucks, the derby.
I came across the picture. It wasn't that year. It was a couple years prior when Mike Vaders came there with Avenger. I think it was Iron Warrior, Brutus, Avenger, and Black Stallion were all there with Dean. And I got up into Black Stallion after they parked the truck at the finish line right under the flag stand. And those guys were all underneath the truck in the window. And my dad was doing the photography for the track at that point. And it was on the internet. Like I stumbled across, I'm like, wow, this is kind of cool.
Cool.
That's an old picture.
Yeah, no doubt.
It was neat though.
But yeah, that'd be a nice place. I didn't even think of that. I think a big derby could be held there.
Oh yeah, the facility's got plenty of space, and they take a week off
in the middle of summer.
No, they take. Well, I mean, looking at it that way, yeah, they take a week off in June, a week off in July, and a week off in August. So there's plenty of space on the schedule to throw something in there and really mess with the fair schedule.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be cool. But yeah, Blackrock, man, I haven't thought of derby over there in a while.
We had an Enduro there, and it snowed. The weekend before was when they rescheduled Super Dirt Week to November because of the bad weather and everything. And it was like 65. Everybody's wearing T-shirts in November. The next week, there was this much snow on the ground. And some of the guys brought it was an open Enduro as part of that derby. And some guys had brought like Camaros with.
Yeah.
Nate Peckham brought one.
Yeah.
And they did really good on the ice. I was shocked.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to just be doing loops.
I can remember the Blackrock was I think it was Dundee then. But when Enduros were first big back in the day, I mean, I was still in high school. It was that long ago. Either in high school or just out. Like, they would have Enduros there, and they'd get like 300 cars. They'd put them all on the track at once and say, go. And they just used to tear stuff up. I mean, there was like knock the windows out if you wanted and go. It was like just run.
Yeah, the Enduro scene got changed quite a bit around here.
When Weed Sport started doing it weekly.
A couple tracks were doing it. I think Paradise was doing something along those lines. Weed Sport was doing them weekly, but they were like 35 laps. I mean, it wasn't even. I remember going to an Enduro where they stacked them 3 wide. It was either Weed Sport or had to be Weed Sport. Had to be Weed Sport because I remember there was an outside wall, and they stacked them. And when they hit the finish line, the cars were going into turn 3 deep all the way around. So within a lap and a half, the leader was in traffic. Yeah, and it was cool. And the announcer, I think it was Joe Murata. I assume it was. He made like 60 references to the Santa Anita Highway in the first 20 laps. I'm like, got it, congested, got it. And I was young enough, but I wasn't even thinking. It's like, why does he keep saying that?
Yeah, those are the days. And anymore, I mean, that you could really, I think, get a bunch of, like, if you did a compact Enduro, I mean, think about it. Compacts are a dime a dozen. Run them.
And they only want 3. They want Pintos, Luminas, and
Accords.
Accords. I was going to say Camrys, but
same thing.
More, well, not side by side, same thing, but same idea.
Jesus, you all right over there?
Which there was bones in my water. There was. Which leaves a gamut of compact cars that people don't run and don't want that would be readily available. It would be neat to see a legitimate Enduro. On New Year's Day, Ransomville for years has done the Hangover 100 or the Hangover 150 or whatever it is. Now they've got 3 or 4 different divisions that run just to get the car counts to balance out. But they've had some entertaining stuff out there.
Yeah, usually they burn cars up there.
Jaron Israel, you remember him? He's won a bunch of those. Had success there anyway. I don't know if he's
Ransomville. That's a fun track.
Ransomville's got the weirdest ditch on the front stretch.
I thought they got rid of it though.
Well, last time I was there, they had a ditch. I haven't been there.
It's the moat.
Yeah.
If you're fast, you can go off the track into the moat and pass cars going into turn 1.
Danny Johnson. Yeah.
Just like driving off the backstretch at Lone Wheels. The only person I've ever seen drive off the backstretch at Lone Wheels, pass cars and come back on was Danny Johnson. He would do it consistently. Wouldn't even slow him down. Racing, shield up, off the backstretch, passing cars and back on.
Do you know why he could do that?
Because he has balls of solid brass.
Well, I was going to say that's how he paid for groceries, but yeah, that. I was thinking that either way, the food or the solid brass balls is a good motivator, right?
Absolutely. But
Ron Smoker tried that one time, coming off of turn 2, and ended up lawn darting his number 62 Mullen car end over end and almost hit the pole, the power pole on the backstretch. That was. I had just started getting into a little bit of photography, and I'm like, wow, I should get some pictures of this car in the pits. And then my dad started showing up and said, well, why don't we get the pictures of the cars when they're at speed? It's a novel idea. I'll sit over here and write about it. I'm here to write first anyway.
Oh goodness. But yeah, Blackrock would be cool. Have a real Enduro. That'd be something you ought to work on in your spare time.
Yeah, I know. Tell me more about spare time. I feel like I keep trying to do less and ending up with a bigger to-do list.
Yeah, it's all fun and games.
It is.
But yeah, so we're soon as going to be right in the Derby season.
I know. I almost feel ill prepared for it. Like there's been a couple times where I've like had to catch my breath. Just things like, oh God, we got all this stuff that we still got to go through. I mean, I haven't inventoried or double checked anything from this year, and I know there's stuff that's sitting in the case that's not functioning at optimum. At the minimum, and I'd like to do a tune-up on that machine that we recovered, because all the changes and stuff that we did to it, it is not healthy. I know it's not running at optimum, and my kids love to play games and watch YouTube on it, so I know that it needs to be cleaned up. because there's all sorts of different things that they've decided that need to be saved for antiquity on the desktop. It looks like I don't even know what to compare it to. The desktop is quite busy now because everything's shortcuts and things of that nature, which I can kind of live without.
Yeah, but be interesting to see what's going on next year here locally in the Derby world. Gully picked up another show up in Lowellville.
He's busy.
I haven't heard any changes for any of our local shows. I think Yates and Canandaigua are still.
You were talking about not running at Blackrock and running at Waterloo all those times. I mean, that was when going to the big trips for our area were Canandaigua, Yates County, Trumansburg late in the summer, Bath, and Whitney Point.
Yep.
I mean,
we
had guys from our area that would go run in that loop.
Around. I don't know. I can remember guys I remember Harry Cobb going down and running at Whitney Point.
How'd he do?
I think he won a heat, but I don't remember if he went back for the feature or not because he went down during the week.
That was when they had two. Now they're just on a Wednesday.
Yeah,
they've been Wednesday for a while.
Yeah. Well, then Sunday night was usually feature night.
Yeah. Trumansburg or Whitney Point?
Whitney Point.
Trumansburg had a weird qualifying process. It took all week long.
Yeah, well, it's jam. I mean, there's things are goofy there. But I used to. I mean, for me, I would do. They used to have derbies, once or twice a year after races. Canandaigua Weed Sports. So I would try to hit one or two of those. And
Brewerton, Utica, Rome.
Yep, Brewery. Yeah, I used to hit those too. Picked up my first win at Brewerton.
99.
I believe so. And then 2000 was Waterloo.
I wasn't asking.
Somewhere I got that on tape. Me winning at Brewerton.
Does it still work?
We have a VCR, and I'm thinking I might.
You couldn't even come up with the right letters to describe it.
Well, it took me a minute.
I haven't
thought about it a long time.
Can you pop it in your Betamax?
We never had a Betamax. We always had VHS, but I got some old football tapes too that I've been threatening to get the kids want to watch. So we may get some of those out and then get out some old Derby tapes and watch it. It's definitely different watching those than it is watching Smashed Empire DVD. things are definitely different.
Yeah,
but that I think was a Mel Thomas tape that we bought. We bought that night of racing, and the Derby was on the end of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because Mel, I assume Mel still does tapes, races. I know for years.
He's everywhere.
Yeah, I know for years. I mean, that's we got I don't know. Seemed like most. I would say most, but a lot of my brother's feature wins. We'd get them buy them for Dad, and he'd watch them all winter. But it was cool. It was a fun time.
Mel has boxes of DVDs at all the shows that he goes to. Just from current year, and then they move a ton of those year end.
Does he still work
reels.
at the school?
No. I believe he's retired from the school. I saw him I was wearing my old Dirt Motorsports hoodie, and I saw him in Wegmans a couple weeks ago, and he kept staring me down, and I said hi to him a couple times, and I don't think he's got an evil twin. But he was very growly. I don't know if my hoodie offended him, or if he didn't know who I was, or if he was confused. But it was kind of funny.
That's funny. But no, it's looking forward to it this upcoming year. We
new home for Cassin Valley. I don't know if you saw that. Mm-hmm. They're relocating. That was on their Facebook page here the other day. Justin Smith sent me information about that. They're going to move to a different facility. Let me see if I can find him quick. Whoops, I didn't want to do it that way.
Someplace bigger? Did they outgrow the one they were in, or?
Probably could say that they did. Let me find it. New date and location: April the 13th and October the 19th at the Frederick County Fairgrounds in Virginia. It's in the Stonewall grounds, I guess. It's in Clearbrook, but rumor is that it is a larger facility.
Is it a little bit closer this way, so you don't have quite the drive, or?
Negative. It's not a bad drive down there. I mean, it's You leave here, you get on 414, you run into 15, you run into 15 and pick up 81, and 81 takes you right to the fairgrounds. And in Woodstock, it's like an 8-hour drive. But, I mean, I've made it in 5:45 before.
And that, folks, is why Chris Marquardt doesn't drive when I'm in the vehicle.
No, it's not a bad drive. It's a nice, simple drive. Most of this stuff is pretty easy to get to anyway. Down there in terms of the fairgrounds, Luray is a little bit further south.
It's a nice, easy drive when we go to Bash or Cash, too. It's just that drive home that gets us. Well, not you so much as me, but...
It's a struggle. It's hard. It's hard because there's only so... I'm excited for the ride home this year, actually, because something has happened to the air conditioning unit, and the right side will only blow hot air. So when it's 3 a.m. and 45 degrees outside... and all the windows are open, I'll have the heat on my side of the car, whether I like it or not.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, I by that stage of the trip, I'm definitely scratching at anything to stay awake, and that AC sometimes helps. All the windows down.
All it takes is like you always come up with these oddball questions. What was the 10 best, whatever, and I'll get through like starting at 10 and getting through halfway through number 9, and we end up on this tangent. And it occupies 45 miles, 50 miles, but then we never go back to 8, 7 through 1. It's always
I remember the
45 miles, 50 miles, maybe up to an hour, and then it goes quiet for 15 minutes, and then we go the complete opposite direction. It's like, what were your top 10 favorite Nintendo games that didn't start with a consonant? Like, I don't know.
The one year you and Christy Germain talked most of the way home.
Yes.
I don't know I can't remember if they were going home or they were just up partying after.
I don't know.
You guys, I think when they were going home too, and you guys, I
don't think they went that year. We were posting pictures on Facebook of the hair metal of.
Oh yeah, because you're making fun of my music.
No, I like most of it.
Well, somebody was making fun of it.
I like most of the music that we listen to in terms of the hair metal. The problem is on Memorial Day weekend, nobody's working at the Sirius studios,
yeah,
so they put in 19 songs that play on continuous loop. And about the 9th time that we heard "She's My Cherry Pie" on the way home, it had worn thin. It's like, for the love of God, someone play some Eminem.
Yeah, that's a fun trip. Hopefully we'll be back out there again this year. It'd be interesting to see.
According to the conversation that I had on the phone,
good chance.
There's a very good chance of it, yes.
Be interesting to see if there's any more Imperials out there this year. Battling the bronze.
After our last show, when we talked about the follow-up to Blizzard Bash and the subsequent phone calls, plural, that I've had, I know of 3 derbies we're going to next year.
Very cool. That's what I like to hear. Very, very good.
Barring anything unforeseen and in your famous words, God willing.
That's what I like to hear. Well, I didn't know if we wanted to spill the beans or if we were just
I didn't.
All right.
We already talked about Cassin Valley. There's 2 dates right there.
Yep, we did. And we talked
Brookfield
about...
Wheel Days is coming up in September.
And we talked
San
about...
Filippo's got a couple events.
They do.
So what 3 are we talking about for sure,
exactly.
Right?
That is true. That is true. Yeah, San Filippo, that's... I don't know what they're going to do to make it even bigger, but that was impressive. That was a really good time. I mean, I was lucky enough to get down there for the first one this year to go watch, and it definitely had a different feel. You know what I mean? Everybody was just there to have fun. There wasn't the stress. There wasn't the tension. It was really cool to see the whole Derby community come together. We've touched on it before. We really take care of each other, and it's pretty cool to see. And I take that back to most of us in the Derby world are blue collar people, and they're the people that take care of each other. It's pretty cool how that happens.
Andy Wolfhanger celebrating a birthday today. I missed that earlier. And then we missed something big. We even started hedging closer to it, talking about Jamie St. Mary and Travis Charleston's home derby up in Malone. Jamie's sister passed away. She was quite sick. Remember, we talked about it over the summer about how she was in some rough shape.
Jody?
It was Kyle Deno's wife.
Okay. The only one I know, I think her name was Jody, and she lived down south.
I should have looked this up so I don't look silly.
Well, it was we were doing the free flow. Chris, do you think my beard makes me look like a homeless man?
It was Julie Deno.
Okay, I did not know her.
She passed away back at the beginning of the month. I'm certainly thinking about that family. It's a good group of people up there, and that was unfortunate to learn of that. She'd been sick off and on, and a lot of prayers and stuff were sent their way, and she had battled out of it, and then whatever it was had surged back on her, and off she went at the beginning of December. So tough to lose somebody that close to the holidays, for sure. And we just done a little bit of artwork for Kyle, so that was tough to learn of.
Very.
Lightening things a little bit. Does your beard make you look homeless? It makes you look like you got turned down from a mall job.
Wow,
this time of year.
My mom and my wife hate my hair and my facial hair.
Yeah?
Yeah. They're going to be upset when
They have better taste than I was guessing.
Yeah, they're going to be upset when I retire and I just let it grow. I'm going to look like the dudes from Duck Dynasty. That's my goal.
Yeah?
Yeah. Just let it go, man.
Just give up?
Just let it go. Just let it go. But, no, this is a real good year for us. I mean, we did a lot of traveling. Florida for the second time. Mm-hmm. You had a hell of a time making it to Winter Slam. That was definitely a abomination.
Yeah, it was bad.
It was bad.
It was very rough. It was very rough, and I know you can't control weather. There's nothing you can do about it ultimately. We booked the flights with plenty of time. Things were going to be okay. We made it work for the schedule and the budgets and everything, and then a snowstorm hit Detroit.
Mother Nature said, "Hey, watch this."
Yeah, if we had picked any other airport to connect through, perhaps we would have made it without a problem. Mm-hmm. We ended up getting to Winter Slam as the first of the 4 one-and-dones was ending. So we still were there for 3/4 of the show, which was
Chris
cool.
said, "Here, let me show you how that's done." I took the microphone and it was on.
Not exactly. They had 2 microphones up there, so I just grabbed that, and I thought I was going to tag team with that gentleman, and he actually took the opportunity to go do some other stuff that he didn't attend to, which was good. Made his family happy. Certainly did make it a challenging day, tooling in because there's no place to put the car. The whole rigmarole that came with it. But we got there. We got the show done.
That weekend we were in Florida. Ben and Josh and I went to Florida. And it was funny because we all ran into each other at the airport. Remember? We went, Josh and Ben and I had rode up together. And then Chris and Melissa, you guys were going to whatchamacallit. And we go to get on the bus. They pick us up with the bus in the parking lot. The guy backs up to turn around and backs into somebody's truck. And never even acted like anything happened. Put it in first and drove away. And you guys got on the same bus, and then we went through to check-in together. And then you went to somewhere cold and snowy, and you went to Florida.
Yeah, we went to Rochester and got as far as Rochester.
Yeah,
and then we stayed in one of the scariest hotels I think we've ever stayed at, and
it was just like your second honeymoon, wasn't it?
We couldn't even kill the cockroaches on the floor. They just refused to die. We ended up going to Wegmans. We got dinner at Wegmans, which is really a step above the gas stations that we typically eat at when we're traveling. So I was fine with that. The gluten-free assortment was certainly on point.
Yeah, because at a gas station there's like 2 things that are gluten-free. Usually bubble gum and
beef jerky.
Beef jerky.
Not teriyaki.
So, yeah,
just regular beef jerky.
Teriyaki.
So we were there, and we had a choice. With the weather that was in the area, we could drive back home and get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to drive back, or get a hotel So we looked it up and we found a hotel for $50. We're only going to be there for 4 hours. How bad could it be? Well, it was freaking bad.
They took the challenge when it said how bad could it be. They took the challenge.
How bad could it be? And basically, you know how they put the little warning plates on the door that says not responsible? Mm-hmm. This one said, you'll be robbed.
It was. We kept in touch, though. We went to Florida, and it wasn't super hot. It was a little humid down there, but we were back and forth with you guys on the phone, mm-hmm. and you knew you'd made it there. And then that's where we missed the update that we were supposed to do on the computer. So that kind of
no, it wasn't an update.
I thought it was an update.
No, it wasn't an update. It was a switch had to be flipped once the USB was plugged in because when I did all the setups here, we didn't plug everything on when it was powered up, so it defaulted back to a different speaker.
Gotcha.
And it never even crossed my mind. The first time I walked you guys through it, I had everything hooked up, so it would find it. As long as everything was hooked up first, and then the computer was turned on, it would have found it. But when I did that, it had reset that setting, and it doesn't go back on its own, mm-hmm. which is a real handy trick.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah. Well, they do that, so then you got to call their technicians, and their technicians, you know.
Yeah. But I just want to point out that I'm still waiting for tech support from XSplit because after we left there, after we got done with that, Ben and Josh went to Maymania, and I remember phone conferencing with Josh in the parking lot from the wedding that I was at, trying to get some stuff straight for him out there, and everything was good to go there. And then we turned around and went to Road Rage. No, we had one more in between there. Mini Meltdown. Mm-hmm. Mini Meltdown was in there too. We had the problem with Road Rage, and God, after that, I was ready to just quit. I was done with all of it. It was insane, and that's when we started the help ticket with XSplit was then, and we still haven't got a solution, but we got the computer fixed.
It's only been 6 months. So I mean, you should give them time.
June, July, August, September, October, November, December. I'll give them January because of the holidays and they're probably bottlenecked. So it'll be 8 months by the time we might hear back, right?
That's all good.
It's fine. Why worry?
What's
to worry about?
Florida. And that was last year's Derby was interesting in Florida. In the mod class, the track was the true winner because it was breaking everybody's stuff.
Why is that? Was it just because it was soft?
It was so rough.
Oh,
the cars would get to bouncing and it would break wherever the cars were twisting it. That's what would break. Yeah. Mark Siopa went out there and money driver, man. He was he brought it home.
Decided not to brave the rough stuff, stay on the edges.
He just went out and was smooth, man. He's smooth and brought the money home. The stock heat was incredible. Brett Relier was down there. Corey Relier, Mad Mike, Greeny was there. Not Greeny? No, not Greeny. Who's the older gentleman? I can't think of his name. He had a Mopar and he was making junk. I think he got Mad Dog. Ronnie McClung was down there. It was a good show. I found the incredible ant, the incredible fire ant. He's a great creature that God created. I was in the back of the pits while they were cleaning stuff up and talking with Brett and Fur and all those guys. And something kind of itched on my leg, and I itched a little bit, and all of a sudden my legs kind of started burning. I'm like, what is going on? It was these fire ants.
Yeah.
So I made it back up to the announcer stand and robbed everybody's water and was pouring water all over my legs, and eventually the ants quit chewing on me, and it was interesting.
How do you get them to stop?
I found pouring water on them and then scrubbing profusely was...
Yeah. That's miserable.
That was one of those nights where we didn't sleep either. We went back to the hotel and hung out for like an hour. Then we had to drive back to Tampa and then flew home. That was a fun day.
Makes for long days.
Yeah.
And then later in the summer, we ended up at Cassin Valley. We tried some stuff in Oswego with Dirt Track Digest during Super Dirt Week in terms of streaming live to Facebook. We tried a few things. We had a little sniff of a signal, and at Cassin Valley, at one point it was like a 6, which was great. Mm-hmm. And then reality set in, and it went back down to like 0.2, and it made for a little bit more of a challenge. But I figured, let's let's try it and see what happens. And we were able to do some stuff. Learned a lot, which was good. I mean, the best part about it is we learned a lot about what Facebook does, what Facebook likes, what Facebook doesn't like, what Facebook will kick you off for.
Music. Music?
No, it wasn't that. It was just they didn't like how frequently I was going Facebook Live. They thought it was a glitch, and they locked me out.
Gotcha.
For a short period. But if you just refresh the live link, the computer automatically generates a new one. So I just kept refreshing the live link, getting a new button, and plugging that into the streamer. So it was a little bit more stable later on. We did miss a little bit of stuff due to a glitch unrelated to Facebook. But I mean, for all intents and purposes, we tried some new stuff, and it's there.
Cool.
You know, it saves the hassle of trying to load it to YouTube after the fact, but you give up quite a bit in terms of clarity and video quality, which, for as far away from the track as you are, being up in that crow's nest, I don't know if it's that big of a problem. I mean, it's certainly noticeable. But you're also restricted to how fast and how much you can stream to YouTube anyway. Or excuse me, to Facebook. So, you know, it is what it is. We can always find a way to make it better, which is kind of what I'm looking forward to this year. Because I'm not going to lie, I cannot wait to get this year behind me. It has been an expensive and painful and not a lot of success to hang your hat on year.
Yeah, you were pretty stressed for about 5 months this summer.
I just saw that Spinning Wheels put a teaser out there. Imperials are back, but they don't have a date and they don't have anything as to when. It looks like they're going to be doing a Facebook Live something or other reveal on the 22nd of December.
Cool. Huh. I wonder where that'll be.
Huh?
I wonder where they'll run it.
I don't know. The attention grab pictures are both Rick Engelhart cars.
Hard to believe.
Yeah.
If you're going to get an Imperial, you might as well use one of his. Is it one of the ones where there's no front fenders on it, on his box car?
No, it's where there's no quarter on it, and the other one's the fresh yellow one.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's where he's parked very deep on, looks like a 62 or 63. You got way up on the back of it at maybe Wheel Days.
Cool.
Delaware County. I think so. No, not Delaware County. Madison County.
Madison County, excuse me. Yeah, we it was funny. We went down and hunted with Jeremy, and we talked some about derbies, but not a whole lot. Just more about hunting and life, and it was fun. Now it's back to the derby world.
Sometimes less is more when it comes to talking about derbies.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. But it's you know, I don't know if we're doing a reminiscent or if we'll do that in a week or two, but things just keep getting cooler for us, man.
Judging by the calendar, unless we went an off day, next week will probably be the last one for the year, unless we want to get together in that week, which we can.
Oh, between Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah.
That's right, because next week's the 17th, isn't it?
Yeah, already.
Whew. Man.
Which means I'm running out of days to solve this Christmas dilemma that we've got in terms of how are we going to buy things for people?
It's overrated.
But if you just keep putting it off, eventually it'll be fine.
Yeah, I wouldn't even worry about it. We were talking to work out today, and they're like, have you started shopping yet? And I'm like, nah, we still got a lot of time. Look at the calendar. I got a lot of time. I actually go out on Christmas Eve day and do a bunch of my shopping.
Yeah.
I work better under pressure.
You don't like people as a whole.
Generally.
You don't like public places generally as a whole. Yet you choose arguably one of the busiest shopping days to go do your shopping. So where do you go that would still not be public, not be busy, and allow you to get something that your wife isn't going to skewer you for?
Honestly, I guess I do it kind of easy. My wife collects cherished teddies. She's done it for as long as we've been together, which are these little figurine, teddy bear figurines. So I go to a Hallmark store. It's usually not too busy in there.
I wish I could be with you when you walked into a Hallmark store.
Actually, I went in there last year, and Kevin Ridley was in there, and we talked for probably an hour about racing. And he was there with his girlfriend. He just got home from. That's when he went down last year and hung out with Tony Stewart for like 2 weeks because he was on there for the Nationals. So we stood there and talked for a couple hours. So I go in there. Last year I went a couple doors down and got the wife gift certificates for the movie theater because she always wants to go to the movies, but she doesn't want to spend the money.
Understandable.
So I spent the money. I think I got her paid for a couple trips to the hairdresser for her because again she doesn't like to she'll go get her hair cut, but like she doesn't want to do anything fancy or whatever. So I pay for that for her. I think I go to Walmart and get her some stuff there, some candles and stuff like that. But yeah, it's not that I don't like people. It's with my job.
Thankfully, she doesn't listen to the show. Otherwise, she's going to know exactly what she's getting for Christmas again this year.
Well, she knows anyways. If I counted it up, we're closing in on 30 Christmases together. So,
I'm pretty rehearsed.
Yeah, I mean, this year I'm surprising her. A girl I work with, she went and got me some of this body spray stuff from Victoria's Secret. So she's getting that. But it's not that I don't like people. It's that I don't like people that I see at my work, i.e. inmates and stuff like that. So I try to stay pretty low here. But like when we're out and about, like with, Crash Course, I love to see people and talk and shoot the breeze. But I've just, in between Seneca and Ontario counties and some Cayuga, I'm not as I don't have as a positive an attitude as you do, Chris. So it's hard to
One of the things that gets me the most nervous about when we're out and about and we're traveling is when people come up and say hi, and I'm supposed to know them, and I hate hurting people's feelings, but like I don't remember the one time that we may have casually met at some point, and I don't remember their names. I might remember their face, but I don't remember their names, and I always feel so bad about that.
See, it helps. Like if people come up and introduce themselves, that helps me a lot. That sticks in my mind. But like when they just come up and start talking, and I love it. I mean, it still completely blows my mind that like we go, we're blessed, like I said, and we go to these derbies and people thank us or tell us they appreciate what we do. I mean, that completely blows my mind. So to be recognized is still pretty awesome. And I love when people come up and talk to me. I'll talk to you about anything. Generally, when I talk to derby people, it eventually turns to hunting. So if you're not a hunter, you may want to come up and talk to me. But if you're anti-hunting, I guess I should say. But it's so awesome. I mean, the first time I went to Blizzard Bash after you guys drove the first year, and I didn't go.
Yeah,
drove out there. You were in the car for like 97 hours.
I think it was 22 hours, something like that out there.
Yeah.
It was a challenge.
But when we...
Because you got ordered to work, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The night you guys were leaving, I got ordered. But the first year we went out there, we were in a McDonald's of all places, and somebody came in and recognized me, and I was just like, this is amazing. But that topic turned into hunting, too, is when I get to talking about the derby stuff. But it is. It's so awesome, and I appreciate it, and I love the fact that, people like what we do and for the most part, are happy with our product. That's really cool.
Did you see the photo that I shared last week that popped up on my timeline?
I don't know if I did.
Dean Reynolds was in with Mike Mallett and I.
Oh, yeah, it was like the first.
That was less than 2 months into the 31st lap.
Wow.
So that was one of the first real pictures that we had from the old studio. And that picture was taken where Jim's stool and computer was right at the end of when we were over at the other studio. That table was pushed up against the wall, basically where the picture of Jackie was. Mm-hmm. And we had a little banker's light, and that was from 2011, I think. So that was early in the existence. I mean, like probably within the first 10 episodes of the 31st lap. And just to see that picture and how far that upstairs had come. And now we're in this place, which is completely different. I mean, this is far, far different than anything that we've ever been in before. This is an old school.
Yeah.
I
this is nice, but I like the ambiance of the old studio. It's kind of like a dungeon. You know what I mean?
Hang on.
You can't do it. It's still too big.
I can.
It's still too big.
Close.
Unless you can make the walls like come in on us. There you go. No, it's still too bright behind me. Before you turned all that stuff on, it was better. But it was cool because it was funny because we turned the lights off over there for the show.
I know, right?
We turned the main lights off.
I know.
And we just had the lights around us on. It was awesome, man.
It was. You forget that there's the rest of the building there, because especially you go back and you look at some of the old videos, and it's just dark. It looks like it's this big.
Mm-hmm. Definitely cool. Did the wife or any of the family run the It's a Wonderful Life?
My mom walked it.
Cool.
My mom walked it, and then one of the teachers that I work with ran it. Did the whole thing, which was kind of cool. Oh, so periodically when I was working at the high school, the podcast or the marketing or a kid would see something that I was working on in terms of a roof sign or door wrap or whatever, and they would ask about it. So I'd pull up a video and show them whatever, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's kind of cool." Fifth graders think it's awesome.
That's great. That's great.
You say, "Yeah, I'm going to Kansas to go be on TV, or I've been to Minnesota or Utah or whatever like that to be on a live stream." Whatever. What's a live stream? It's kind of like TV on your computer. It's like on YouTube. You're a YouTuber?
Yeah, it's funny.
I'd be happy to sign this letter home to your parents.
It's funny. Every now and then I'll meet people and we'll talk about different stuff, and what do you do? And I tell them my job, and then I tell them about this, and they're like, really? And I'm like, yeah. Is there much following for it? And I'm like, you do the pay-per-views for Blizzard Bash, and it's pretty awesome the amount of people that watch that. So, and I mean, you look at the stands, and they're full, and like I said, it's cool where the sport is. It's cool where it's going. I just wish, touch on it 100 times. I wish we could get some support for some big companies to make things better for the drivers. But hopefully someday we can do that, and hopefully we'll be a part of it.
Yep. There's where the Derby landscape, and you started to hit on this earlier, but where the Derby landscape is now in terms of Smash It having a large portion of the Midwest under wraps. We've lost a couple of the standalones. At least they've changed dramatically. Domination still has a very solid county fair schedule, and now Candace has picked up Mandan, which is definitely on the Derby radars for a lot of people. Johnny Gullo with what he's doing out in Utah. I think the landscape looks a lot different in terms of where the power combinations are. The group in Michigan that bought out Derby Icons. Just imagine if Tim and Russ had bought that, how different things would be yet. Mm-hmm. Looking at what the builds are and what the hot tickets are and things along those lines. And we can't. I mean, we hit it earlier. Brandon Dixon and John Peck and those guys down in the, I don't know, lower Midwest. Is that what you would call that?
Middle Midwest, maybe?
Yeah, in Kentucky and Kentucky region and stuff like that. It's really cool to look at the way that the season is now endless. It's just an infinite cycle.
Oh man, I just had on my mind, and I completely forgot. But he had his first Derby last year as a promoter.
Toast was working together with Daryl Monroe on that one, right?
Yep. Yeah. Toast and Daryl, they stepped out together and had a pretty successful show. So I mean, it's there's definitely a lot of guys that are getting into it for the right reasons.
Obviously, there's regional guys that are successful too, like I think it's the KDDA. Chad Markley's got his, and then Jesse Kimmy's got his deal in Kansas. We talked about Randy Maslowski. He does a couple derbies through the course of the year. The one that gets the most attention is Winter Slam, but I mean he does a couple county fairs through the course of the year too.
Yeah, he's pretty busy. Oh, excuse me. He's pretty busy throughout the year as well. But obviously Winter Slam is the big one for him.
Steve Turlow. Am I blanking on that? Steve Turlow with I think it's Lunatic Promotions. They do the T-Bone. Mm-hmm. He stays plenty busy. There's a lot of guys on the regional level that are making waves that are generating attention, and that's I think that's a sign of a healthy sport.
Oh, absolutely.
To me, I mean, you look at the motorsports parallels. Obviously, there's the national events that everybody knows about, but a lot of these guys are regional track operators that still draw 60, 70, 100 cars for their main classes.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention the fact that you start factoring in some of the support divisions, and you've got 250, 350, 450 cars.
Yeah, we've heard people talk about the demise, but I definitely don't see it. I mean, it's definitely and it's breaking down. I actually saw it was a discussion on Facebook, and they were guys were arguing about which one class is better than the other, and I'm just like, I don't understand the argument. I mean, like what you like.
What's
and
the argument?
That's what I mean. And they were arguing back and forth how one class is better and this class is that. And I'm just like, if you like your class, then be happy with it, and don't knock somebody else's. I mean, it's crazy.
What class is better all depends on what cars are in your backyard and how good your welder is.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, isn't there? It's laughable, but isn't there some truth to that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's I don't know. It's non-acceptance that hurts the sport. You know what I mean? Like, that guy, that's not real derbying because that car's not built, or that's not real derbying because that car's overbuilt. Well, if that's the way they want to, if you want to build a car that'll last you all summer and then build it. But if you want to, if you're into building cars that you can junk in one shot, then do that. Whatever makes you happy. I mean, I don't, I've said it 100 times. I love watching the cars. I love watching the full weld cars at Blizzard Bash. But I would never want to drive one.
Are you talking about the outlaw cars or the full weld main class?
Full
cars?
weld main class.
Yeah.
But I mean, I also like the one and done classes out there, the stocks, the stuff like that. I mean, because they drive the same way. Them guys are nuts.
You love the full weld national class at Blizzard Bash.
Mm-hmm.
You also love the wire class and 80s chain and 70s wire classes at Bash for Cash.
Oh,
Those
absolutely.
are completely opposite.
Oh, absolutely. If anything, I guess for me it would come to, but it's this is the thing is I'm always, I guess, talking about I like the wide open, just knock them out of their seat stuff. But I mean, I can also respect the guys that go out there and drive pinpoint and don't make mistakes and they don't put themselves in bad spots, and I can appreciate that, and I think that comes from my racing background. But for me, I mean, I'm more about just seeing stuff get tore up. But I mean, like I said, I can also respect. I'm not going to knock a guy for going out and driving smart and winning 20 or 30 grand. I mean, good for him.
It's not life-changing money, but it certainly helps the Derby budget.
Yeah, it definitely can straighten some stuff out for you. But I just, we should all. That would be one thing is all kind of agree to like what we like and support that and go.
Wow, what a deep theory that is.
I could almost be a liberal.
Good.
But
I had a strange discussion with somebody at school who didn't realize that there was a spectrum, that liberal isn't necessarily synonymous with democratic ideas and conservative isn't necessarily synonymous with Republican ideas, and that you could have somebody who is a liberal Republican or a conservative Democrat, and and their brain was just running out of their ears. They didn't understand it. It was very strange.
The worst part of all that?
That it's a bowl of crap looking at the mirror at itself?
Not even that. When I was a kid, there were Americans. That's the worst part of that. When I was a kid, there was just Americans. And, they did what was right for the country. Unfortunately, not enough that happens, in my humble opinion, anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But we're getting too serious.
I'm just a fan of being nice to people.
Let's get back to boob jokes and talking demolition derby.
Is that something that you've got planned for next year?
Boob jokes?
Well, sure.
Yeah, if you let me.
I probably won't.
All right. I would love to be not talking about demolition derby next year.
Moderately more highbrow than boob jokes.
Okay.
Moderately. I didn't say tons, but
at least on air.
At least on. Yeah, that's a fair compromise. I'll go with that.
But I like what you said about going to 3 shows this year, so that'll be cool.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot more. It's going to be busy. I don't know to what extent, just because I'm still a little conservative in terms of how brave I want to get with some of the equipment right now, just because I haven't gone through it. But I bet it's more than 3.
Hopefully it's a good year. I think next week we ought to do our official year end and talk about some winners and some guys that had good years. And
all right, sounds like a good plan. We'll get some more guests lined up too, and we'll take a walk down that way too.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, sound good.
Sound good. And we'll wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and see you in 2019.
Next week we'll do that.
Yes.
We're gonna do it now.
No,
do it next week too.
Next week.
Do it both.
No.
Extra well wishes.
Just in case.
Just in case we miss somebody.
I love this time of year, but I don't want to waste it. We'll just do it next year.
There's only so much cheer to go around, and we have to ration it out.
It has to be rationed, man.
Ration it out.
You got to rationally rational it.
Well, that's going to do it for this one. 254 in the books. I was glad to see a little bit of discussion online. It was kind of cool. And we'll be back again next week with 255. We'll do our official year-end review. Take a look back at what happened throughout the duration of 2018 and look forward ahead to more information about 2019. We'll see everybody next time.
The Crash Course Live is presented by
Smash It Demolition Derby, who host Bash for Cash, Blizzard Bash, and Capital City Carnage. Online at smashitderby.com. And Stirring Dirt Racing, host of May Mania's team show at the Golden Spike Arena in Ogden, Utah. Online at stirringdirtracing.com.
Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel, and Derby Inc. Magazine. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York.